going to be a conversation, not a presentation, so everyone can participate. I don't have a working mic. Oh, it works now. Thank you. Okay. So Mihai is leading this round table, and we don't have a round table. So we don't have a table at all. So we are going to make it work with what we have, which is let's get close together. And this is truly a dialogue. This is truly each of us actually contributed to the conversation. So Mihai is here not to present, but rather facilitate that conversation. Okay, I'm going to close the doors and let's get started.
Okay, so it appears that we're live, which is nice, enjoyable. I'm going to still urge you to sit as close as possible. So we're going to need you in the first rows here. We're going to be passing the microphone, and the way we've envisioned this roundtable is by going back to you and asking you to voice your opinion about the importance of the summit and what you've seen so far, eliciting some questions. And we have, as I've mentioned before, we have 3 topics that we'd like to bring up to the discussion. We have a couple of people here that have expressed interest in innovation, for example, that I hope they're going to have some suggestions, some very concrete suggestions. We have a specialist in, like I mentioned, innovation, but also visa waiver. I have my friend here, Anna. She's very interested to hear more, as I'm sure many of you are, to hear more about Romania's integration with NATO, the Schengen visa process that we know we've failed last year. What's going on with that? What's your interest in the process itself? And lastly, but not least important, we are close to this area of war with Ukraine. And we wanted to hear from you what your thoughts are and if you had any questions. We do have some people that can answer around the room. And ultimately, I think all of us were looking towards a reconstruction of Ukraine. We're looking to see this war ended. And what we hope to see is that there's going to be involvement from the Romanian community in increasing relations between the United States, because we all live here, and Romania, the Republic of Moldova, ultimately Ukraine. And we believe this is going to be a lengthy process, but we also hope that you, to some extent, you will be involved. So I wanted to just kind of, at this point, literally instead of taking a panel type of discussion, okay, I wanted to just hear some thoughts about what you've heard here today, and what did you think about like the importance of the summit? This is, if you're here for the first time or the second time, do you think we should continue? So yes, do it again, and why, and what did you like here today? Very happy to take anybody that cares to. Okay, please prepare, and I will be passing. There you go, we have a microphone.
Hi. So this is the second time I'm attending the summit. I definitely think this is a step forward. You manage, and Romanian United Fund managed to bring in not only local communities, but also people important and people that they're interested in developing a community beyond Chicago. So to me, I think the the most significant improvement from last year, Mihai, was the fact that you managed to bring us all together, but not just Chicago leaders, but people from Connecticut, people from New York. It's great. I think that's the way to do it, to take it a step forward. Personally, to me, this summit means a lot. It's a way to build up my confidence. It's a way to identify my roots and to make me more confident into what future holds for myself and for my kids.
And for the kids. Thank you so much, Anna.
Bravo.
Can I ask that everybody introduces themselves so that we know each other a bit more? So next time at a break, you can say, hi.
Yeah. So for everyone who doesn't know me, my name is Ioana Guset. I'm an attorney with Taft, Stettinius, and Hollister here in Chicago, and I do business law. Thank you.
We're very thankful that Ioana's here and that they brought Taft as a sponsor of today's event. Thoughts? What else did you like, not like? What else would you like to see here next year?
Can I say that?
Yes.
Can we pass this microphone? In my opinion, and I'm asking, is this about community or about the leaders?
I think the answer is both. A lot of people here agree.
My opinion, community is the whole. Either is a rich, or is a lawyer, or is a truck driver, or is a construction guy. Community is a community from all part of avenues or all businesses or all people. So my opinion, that would be nice to see kind of everybody. I mean, again, is it rich or is it poor or is it lawyer or a construction guy? That's my opinion.
Thank you very much, Mr. Branco.
That's a great comment, Branco. Really good. Yeah. But how would you like it if the preacher would scream at the choir for the other people not showing up at church? Okay. Well, I applaud everyone that is here, whether they are leaders, whether they are just community members, whether they have a full-time job like someone I'm looking at right now, full-time job, raising kids and everything else. Not really a leader in the community, but a leader in a true sense because he knows how to raise his kids and keeps his family, right, Vasi? So I'm looking at a member of the community, educated person. We had truck drivers earlier. What I want to say is the invitation was out for everybody. You chose to come, why? Because you wanted to come. You saw the advertising and you were interested, right? Again, congratulations to those that came. Send the message out. There's going to be a third summit. They can join next time. Thank you.
Thank you. So moving on to what would you like to see next year? And let's keep in mind that we can build on this second edition and we can do better. So I'd like to focus on concrete examples and suggestions that you guys have for next year, or you can just continue to share impressions about today. Yes.
Just a suggestion that, maybe organizing the community after this summit with a concrete, project with something that we all pull together, maybe something that you want to see the result of next year. So.
Hi everybody, I'm Anna Nedelcu and I've been in Chicago for almost 10 years now. So what I'd like to see this event growing into, it would be a regional at first and then take it maybe to a national. Definitely I feel it's a fabulous seed and it has all and everything and everybody and it has the potential to grow into a regional.
That's a great idea. Thank you. So, concrete ideas, proposals for next year, or impressions? Yes, we have 2 raised hands.
As a first-time participant, I'm sorry, my name is Gabi Hansen, and I am one of the ROCO members and volunteers. And because I just started with this particular event, I feel that maybe we should start assigning roles a little bit earlier and maybe continuing the roles that we had if we choose to as a volunteer for next year. It would help for better organizing, I think, for ourselves, for the volunteers, I mean.
All of you can submit feedback to the summit by going to the summit website and providing feedback. The question is more about concrete things that we can do together as a community. So very, I know maybe we have one here.
Hello. Hi, I'm Gabi Gruiono from Indianapolis, Indiana University, School of Medicine. Also, I have a consulting company working in biotech innovation. So maybe next year, biotech innovation. But this year is tremendous. It's great. Thank you very much for having us, and the organization is great. I've been to many Romanian events in Boston area, and so this is great. Okay. It could only get better, but it's really, really good. So biotech innovation is one of them, and linked to investment opportunities in this field besides IT. So biotech investors, and yeah, more people would be great. But I know that Romanians are not that easy to bring together.
I'm gonna press you on. I don't want to leave you there. So you can keep the microphone just for a bit, and anybody else that wants to talk about this. So how do you see biotech innovation implemented directly in Romania? Because ultimately we can talk here at the summit, but I'd like to press you on the actual implementation. What do you see that? What can we actually do? And what are your thoughts in terms of practical applications?
You want to take it?
Sure. Yeah, I'll take it. My name is
Keep microphone closer.
My name is Gabriel Todd. Gabriel to the power of 3. Gabi, Gabriel. I'm a CTO for a company that makes medical devices and pharmaceutical equipment. So I'm in the field as well. Recently, for the holidays, we went visiting family back at home, and I was talking with friends there in the doctors in the healthcare industry to see how we can improve what's happening in Romania. For example, and to do that, first we probably need to change the law. Romania is still using an antiquated system. Everything is pen and paper. Everything is hard copy. You need to go to a more of a electronic system to have all electronic records for all patients, easy to find the whole history of a patient without carrying 3 bags of paperwork with you to the next doctor. I think working with individuals, companies from Romania to change that mentality and change the approach pertinent to patients, pertinent to healthcare.
So is anybody else here interested or a specialist in this topic? In particularly interested? So I'm just going to take two bars for 2 members of our community here. 3. Okay, so our goal here is to get some concrete proposals and ideas and see, what are the resources that could stand behind some of these efforts.
I would bring together, for this particular summit, I would invite some academics who have research in biotech, and then some investors maybe. So create a kind of a focus group for that. And then if there are some projects which are actionable, like, okay, I have this invention, I'm ready to start, maybe connect with some Romanian universities or some Romanian resources. And that way, I collaborate with my brother's group, but other Romanians for over 15 years in Romania, so I know there is a lot of potential, and we get good work done. So yeah, start from projects.
I'd like to hear 2 more people speak about this. Yes. One of them is Theo, and I also wanted Kunzi to say a couple of words.
So Theodore Stan, as the president of Immigration Research Forum, we organized annual meetings, and that's one way to connect. But the physical presence, which is something that you can host if you would want. It's something that is needed to create those connections. Romania can be a source of funding for some of the research in the department in this field that you're mentioning. And Romania does not absorb any of the European Horizon funding. It cannot absorb it because it doesn't have the expertise and the research and development centers established in the country with the reputation to actually absorb those European funds. But we have that in the diaspora. We have these startups and we have that expertise. It's a matter of creating those relationships with the universities in Romania or with the research centers in Romania. And that means bringing some of their internationalization offices to visit you here in this area. And this might be a great venue to do so. The virtual part will continue to do it online and try to attract, but I think the physicality of the presence of people here is very important. But as outsider, we shouldn't be the one establishing what the Chicago community should do. And I think just to make it more difficult for you, all of us coming from small communities, diaspora communities like the one in Washington or other Connecticut communities, we look up to you because you do have the human capital, you do have the resources to hold such major events and bring us together from other regions. You may play a larger role. You are the third biggest community in the United States, so you are having this congratulate yourself on coming this far, on coming together, because you do represent a diversity of backgrounds, and yet you can find common ground. And I think that when you think of the physical public presence, it's not just between us coming together from different backgrounds and finding ways to work together, but your public presence in the community. This kind of platform that comes together allows you to have a visibility and representativity with local stakeholders, political stakeholders, decision makers at your government, in your local government, in the town hall, at the state level. And think of your public presence, the public image that you portray to the wider community of the various diasporas that live in DC. I would think we do small things with little budget in DC. Bogdan Banu has Romanians of DC. We come together for the EA event and we go in front of the White House so think of palpable, actionable things where you can come together from the various churches and the various backgrounds and work together. I think that level of nurturing solidarity in the long term, those are the palpable things that I think Mihai is searching for. Whether it is, I don't know, a statue, a park you'll build together, or a school that you all come together, or a project in which you share each other's expertise and make something for your children, like a school project together, or study materials for heritage language, or lobbying for the accreditation of heritage language education in the state.
We can definitely.
I think that's the kind of thing that Mihai is searching for, so that he sets up as an agenda for coming.
So there's still. Thank you very much, Theo. There's a lot of meat there in that phrase. I wanted to give it really quickly to Kunzi and then to Diana. I noticed you raise your hand. Kunzi, introduce yourself and tell us who's the fifth person.
Gotcha. So my name is Kunzi Szentes. I am from Odorhevyu-Secuiesc, Transylvania, Romania. My native tongue is Hungarian, so my apologies for, again, not able to speak in Romanian. I'm also in the university ecosystem, so I can speak to both topics around how do you get research outside from a lab and implement it in the marketplace. I've been working in this space for 6 years now, so it's quite a bit. And Mihai and I were ideating on how can we take the knowledge and exposure I have and then help Romanian universities think through the same topics. I feel big picture, the question is, how do we want to help here? Is it a question of getting Romanian research out of the research setting and starting more Romanian startups? Is it the question getting the Romanian promising startups land in the US better and faster? I'm happy to ideate and offer my network and perspective there. But big picture, I feel like we went down on the biotech innovation topic very deeply, but there's one thing that the whole room or the whole conference should recognize. There's a lot of knowledge in this room across industries, across domains. An idea for the summit is to get the network visibility maybe more surfacing to the top, so everybody knows what knowledge they're participating in. Like, there's so, like, if I would ask everybody in the room what they're best at, I think we can start so many companies together. We can really can take over Chicago. I don't know. I just feel like maybe subgroups on specific topics for next year could be interesting, but making sure those working groups are all attracting the right people, and like that way you can get a lot of outcomes.
And share that knowledge and share that experience with the community, because yeah, it's very easy maybe for the two of us to go in rabbit holes with biotechs, but in the end it's about all the industries and what we can help with all that experience knowledge that we have over the years.
So I'd like to give it to Diana.
Yeah, I just want to build on the conversation, because there were a couple of points earlier. So one is, are we leaders or are we not? Everybody is a leader. Everyone can be a leader in something. It doesn't matter what, you could help out and lead a project within an organization like REF, like ROCO, like your respective churches. That's leadership. That's one. Second, you could change the name biotech with anything else, and the conversation still stands. How can we use what is a great tapestry here of knowledge, experience, funds, troops, everything, to actually do good for good? Good for good means you're solving the community problems. You're making money out of it, probably, because otherwise you're not going to have, you're going to not be sustainable. I have a project which didn't make it into the agenda, but how can we, just for thought, how can we pull community resources together to take care of our older generation? So can we have retirement centers that we're funding together? We're managing together. So I'll stop here, but this is the type of good for good. Can we find some more ideas?
So this is definitely going in the right direction. I wanted to mention that last year we had a healthcare event conference. There were over 100 people at the conference. We had 10 or 12 representatives that came all the way from Romania. It was kind of put together very rushed, but I think having next year a sub-panel and a breakout room, sub-panel focused on biotech innovation with some of the members here today, with concrete topics and diving deeper, mapping out the resources in the community. I think that's a concrete idea that we can work on. So for those of you who don't know, we do have a Facebook channel, we have a LinkedIn channel. Over there, we're going to advertise our WhatsApp group, which is our, sort of our summit community. We invite you to join the summit community to stay in touch, okay? We're going to be talking concretely about next year's summit. So we're not going to waste your time with, happy birthday and, all sorts of like Merry Christmas. It's not going to be a lot of chatter, but we invite you to join the summit community WhatsApp group and anybody who wants to stay engaged. We have here a proposal, okay? This proposal has been shared with some of you in the room. This proposal is to create what is called a community council. Now, I had 25 pages, then I reduced it to 4, and then I decided that 1 page is enough. So I had 1 pager on this idea. And then on the second page, I have 6 concrete ideas for projects. And it was just kind of trying to serve you with seeds for this conversation. But I'm very happy today to stay and talk about taking care of our elderly. So let's move on, and to anybody that thinks this is an important topic. I feel there's a lot of people, so I'm going to start taking, just count hands. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and about 15 over here. So I'm just going to count like a 25 roughly. This seems to be a very interesting topic. So let's stick with this. And I'm going to take right now concrete proposals. What would you like to do? Benny or Marius?
Marius Dancha.
Please introduce yourself.
Marius Dancha, I'm from EmpowerLink, and I want to say, guys, we are so blessed to be together as a community. I was 3 years in Southern Illinois. My wife just finished law school, and I didn't see one Romanian there. And it's so amazing to have people from your own culture around you supporting you, it makes such a big difference. And I love the ideas that are coming out here. I was also a program advisor at Northeastern there in the social program. I think maybe if we could connect with students from the universities, for example, to Romanian American clubs, if they have those, and then connect them also to the elderly to help the elderly as well. And then also have them bring up ideas like we're doing now. So connect with students in the universities from the clubs. I don't know how many Romanian American clubs there are in different universities and colleges, and then connect them to the elderly and connect them to the other projects that we have.
Working at a federation level, at the national level, means you actually hear about what others implement and what is of success. I might advise a similar approach has been implemented by ARCS in Seattle, where they take the children that study Romanian as a heritage language and pair them up with elderly in the community. Many of these children might not have the three-generational family that we're used to in Romania, telling them stories about the past and telling them stories and relating. I think it's mutually beneficial because some of the elderly feel excluded, and just transmitting those stories and those values, I think it helps for the psychosocial well-being of the elderly, and it helps anchor the young people in the long-term history of their community. So I think it will ultimately lead towards a consolidation of your community, and it's beneficial for both. For the elderly that might feel that they don't have a social identity and live in the pockets of their children, and they feel isolated and excluded, even though they have family roles and are well anchored. They're not socially anchored, and I think that's a way that you can bring the programs that address children and the programs that help and assist the elderly, bring them together and consolidate your community. That's one thing that we've seen in a different diaspora hub. I hope this helps.
Thank you. I kind of want to pass it to Dana. Dana has something to add. I'd also I'm mindful of our time here. We do want to address the visa waiver program as well, so we're going to dive right into that after this. But if you can raise your hand just to let me know, if you've got something to add. I got you, Christine. Go ahead, Dana.
Okay, really quickly on the elderly, just to pass the know-how that we have from Connecticut. Legal issues with the elderly. It's the interaction with Medicaid and Medicare. Especially the elderly from Romania coming after the age of 65 are going to face difficulties in securing health insurance, which is huge in this country. So the way around it is, this is a tip, you gotta hire them for something, even if it's babysitting your house, your dog, something, so they could have 5 years worth of paying taxes, and that's when they could finally be eligible for Medicare, Medicaid, and health insurance based that way. It's a tip that comes with experience and could be life-saving for many. And now.
That's amazing. That's
I have many
idea.
tricks. I have many legal tricks, and also advocacy. Don't forget to advocate for your elderly, because this Medicaid, Medicare trick had to be invented because the legislatures do not take seriously elderly immigrants. And so elderly immigrants coming here at a later stage in life are detrimented in access to health care and Medicaid, Medicare, and healthy advocacy would be able to make them be included earlier than the 5-year mandated requirement. And this is what we're doing in Connecticut. We're trying to eliminate the 5 years wait for Medicaid, Medicaid.
So I really feel that what we're seeing here today is we're seeing shaping up the panels from next year. Tips and tricks. I do want to give it to Angie. Angie has some experience in this field. And then we're going to go right back to visa waiver.
I'm not taking time to discuss any of that, but I want to add 2 things on there. Maybe a shuttle program for elderly to take them to their medical appointments, shopping, churches, whatever. Shuttle program, and remote location for consulate services. There are people that need to go to the Romanian consulate and they cannot drive, they can't find parking, so it's very hard for them to access those services.
Great. As an honorary consul, the way I would recommend we take care of that is we enable state-based legal talent, like Ioana over here, or any other local lawyer. We give them the power to take procura, power of attorney locally. It would eliminate the need to go to a consulate. But it's something very creative in the works that we have to work with the Romanian-based notaries to accept a procura made by a local American lawyer.
So I want to take a quick poll. How many of you think it would be highly beneficial if we had consular services somewhere in the north or west side of Chicago? So just raise your hand. Okay, since everybody raised their hand, I want to ask the opposite question. How many think that the best location for the Chicago consulate is downtown? Downtown. How many think it's best to be in downtown? We have one person. Two. There are very good reasons. They're in the same area as other consular services, such as Japan, Korea. They feel like they have to be kind of in the area. I can tell you that the Mexican consulate is on Ashland and 2000 North Ashland. It is much more accessible than our own consulate. So definitely some things can be done. I just wanted to see, we do not need to move the consulate. But if the consulate came up 3-4 times a year at the Heritage Center, at Logos, at Rocco, right? And just announce it ahead of time, just have a schedule. So, guys, we're trying, and the main purpose of the summit, as of last year, okay, we are focused on concrete results. And we have a comment here from the back. Very important. I'm sorry.
Ok. Bună ziua, vorbesc puțin românește. My name is Salvador Cicero, and I am the actual person who bought the Mexican consulate and moved it from downtown to the other side. So let me just briefly share with you why that happened and how maybe the Romanian community can do something similar, right? They are correct in that the law limits many times what the consulate can do, okay? So you got to remember, in order to get the consulate to do what you want, you need to tell the people back in Bucharest what you want. So it's not the consul here can't make that decision. But I'll tell you what we did. If you remember back in the day, the Mexican consulate was on Michigan and South Water. And as you know, we also have a ton of Mexicans. The line would go around the block in the winter. So the consul general said, this is dangerous for our people. We cannot do this. So we looked for a space that was not too far from the government, right? Because remember, the consulate also has to deal with the governor and all those diplomatic functions. And they went to the West Loop, which, as you know, now is a very good option, right? The other thing that we argued was we need space for people. And the advantage in Chicago is you can make that very good argument that Niles, you can find a property where people can wait indoors for all of their documentations. And in February, they don't have to be out in the cold. So I will leave it at that, but it is possible.
Of course.
Welcome to the Romanian Community Summit. Welcome to the Romanian Community Summit. I'm impressed. I didn't know you were here today.
Just time check. Probably around 5 minutes or so.
Okay, so I took it we have until 45, but we have to race.
10 minutes.
I'm sorry, we're going to have to go into the visa waiver program. I'm trying to pace myself here. We have one project that we wanted to discuss. Hello, Mr. Rosa Pepe. Welcome to the Romanian Community Summit. This is a roundtable on Mr. Senator Jim Rosa Pepe. Welcome to Chicago. Senator Rosa Pepe is former ambassador, U.S. ambassador to Romania, and he's going to have a little keynote later. Thank you so much for being here, Mr. Rosa Pepe. So, because we're short on time, I'm going to make a quick proposal. We talked a little bit about this community council. Okay, this community council, if we form this community council, we'd be able to have actions that go between the summits. Hopefully next year we have a massively successful summit and we have some money left that could be invested into projects in the community. We have other ideas for how we can produce revenue. Those members of the committee could appoint some trustees, and then we could start building, start creating some projects for the community. One of the projects that we're proposing, and this is a very concrete thing, you all know Mircea Eliade. How many of you here know Mircea Eliade is actually in a cemetery in Hyde Park? He is in a very beautiful cemetery, but there's hundreds of little tombstones that are all identical. One project that, we all encourage you to go down there, but it's heartbreaking. You cannot find him. As you walk through the cemetery, you cannot find him. He's difficult to find, let's just put it this way. What we'd propose, we wanted to see is how many of you here think it would be a good idea to rally the community around, all the churches, all the community centers, individuals, businesses, simply raise funding for a proper, and just approve a proper tombstone for Mircea Eliade. So I'm going to ask you to raise your hand if you would support this project. All right, that's an overwhelming majority. Thank you. So we wanted to give an example for why we need a community council. And with this, I kind of shortened my presentation to make it very, very brief. We're going to skip the whole rest of it. Dana, we're moving to the visa waiver. And we had a concrete question for you today, and then we're going to open it up for you for the rest of the roundtable. How does the visa waiver impact the relationship with the Real ID? What's the relationship between Real ID and the visa waiver program? And for example, my parents, if they come here, are they able to get a driver license or not with the visa waiver? How does it change from what we have today? And I also know that these are slightly two different topics, I realize. Mm-hmm. Today, for example, somebody walked up to me and they said, truck drivers, we've lost a lot of truck drivers because of the recent changes in the law. Mm-hmm. Does visa waiver program help with anything, or
Yeah. There's no correlation. There's nothing going on with visa waiver program intersecting with driver's licenses. For a year from the moment when you land here as a visitor, all of you, anybody who visits the United States could get a could drive with their European-based driver's license here for 1 year as visitors. So it's neither here nor there. But what I really wanted to ask for your help with today is, let me ask for how you can each help get Romania into visa waiver program. There's a simple two-pronged strategy that RUF had helped me with in putting it into graphics. Right now, I put it on all my profiles, on all my social media. So if you go for Dana Bucin, either immigration attorney Dana Bucin, or Dana Bucin on LinkedIn, or Dana Bucin on Facebook, doesn't matter, it's all over. I posted the two strategies. Number one, all Romanians who have a current B1, B2 visitor visa and that has not expired in the past, that expired in the past 4 years, or it's not yet expired. Those Romanians need to renew the visa through the U.S. consulate in Bucharest. It's simple, online, very efficient. You don't even go for an interview, and it's almost 100% approval rate. That's our number one strategy. Please encourage all your contacts anywhere in the world, anywhere with a Romanian citizenship in the whole world, to do this. Even if their visa hasn't yet expired for 7 more years, even if they still have 7 more years on their 10-year-old visa, please renew it. You help the national statistics. Number two, the Romanians in the EU, outside of Romania, those who already emigrated outside of Romania, we need to recommend to them to abstain from soliciting a new B1, B2 visa till 1st of October 2024. There's a reason for this. They have the highest rate of denial. And if they abstain from soliciting a new, not a renewal, a new B1, B2 visa, they would lower the denial rate for our national statistics. It looks very good, very promising from what I'm hearing. I just talked to His Excellency today, and sounds like we're on a good track. So if you share and forward those two strategies to all of your contacts, we have a real chance that from Chicago, we would infuse better statistics nationally by 1st of October 2024, which is when we draw the line and we decide if we've made it or not. So thank you for helping me with this.
Dana, I really want to, I think a lot of people here in this room are asking themselves, do I really want that visa to go through?
Excellent question. So I know what bothers most people because I've received those questions. So you should know one central factor. Visa waiver and the ESTA platform that activates the visa waiver is safer than the B1, B2 visa in detecting criminal activity, so people with a criminal background, people with prior immigration violations, right? And keeps those people away. So it's even better than the B1, B2 visa. And I'm not saying this by myself from my own knowledge, but I was on a panel with Department of Homeland Security official. By the way, Jim Rosapepe is in the house here, and he made it possible. Thank you. Alianza and the former ambassador to Romania, Jim Rosapepe, made possible all these panels in which we learned that ESTA/Visa Waiver Program is a safer tool for security, for background checks than the B1, B2. And so I wouldn't be worried that the wrong type of people would slip through. And you should know that if anyone has been arrested anywhere in the world, the ESTA would catch that. Right? So
I think what Dana's referring to, a lot of people are saying, we already see all sorts of, mostly illegal immigrants sitting at the corner of streets and, begging or whatever. So there's a lot of worries in that direction. And the new system, does not encourage, and it actually reduces, that type of illegal immigration. What are the implications for my family?
You're going to see a whole lot more artists, students, entrepreneurs, business people who, especially from Transylvania and other region provinces, who don't usually like to travel all the way to Bucharest to get a visa and then hop on a plane. Right now you can hop on a plane from Cluj, from Baia Mare, from wherever you are, without ever visiting a US consulate to get a visa. You just registered on an ESTA platform for $14, and you get on a plane and you're here in Visa Waiver Program. So that all these people who wouldn't have the budget to pay $185 per B1, B2 visa, they just pay $14 for the ESTA, and they don't need to travel to Bucharest.
So I noticed there's a question. I just wanted to say that we have 2 minutes. This is going to be the last question. I wanted to see by raise of hands, how many of you know about the fact that the Schengen limitations for traveling by air have been recently reduced, so you can actually, okay. So there's, how many of you are happy about that? It's making it a lot easier for us to travel, especially by flight, okay? How many of you believe that becoming a member of Schengen is important for Romania? Okay, that's an overwhelming majority. Okay, thank you so much. We don't have time to go into the NATO alliance structure, but I wanted to pass it to Simona.
Very quick question. With a B1 visa, you would be able to stay for 6 months, something like that. So is it the same with, or shorter?
ESTA 90 days, B1, B2 6 months. The disadvantages of ESTA are that, one, it's only 90 days. Two, you cannot change status or adjust status from ESTA to any other visa type. You first have to get out of the United States and come back through the US consulate with some other visa type. 3, if you get caught violating immigration laws on U.S. territory while on ESTA, you no longer have the right to go before an immigration judge. You would be going directly into expedited removal or expedited deportation without the right to see a judge. So it's actually easier to remove violators of immigration laws on ESTA.
So, Dana, again, for my parents who have a 10-year visa, do they lose that visa and can they renew it?
You could still utilize your non-expired B1, B2 visa to enter the territory of the United States even after we get on visa waiver program. So your parents could still come in. They would still get 6 months, maximum of 6 months at the border. And B1, B2, see if you still hang on to it, you could do changes of status or adjustment of status without having to leave the territory of the United States. There's nothing about the visa waiver program that cancels out the prior B1, B2 visa.
And they can renew it just the same way they did it before. Once it expires, they can just simply go to Bucharest through the same process and apply for a new B1 and B2.
Theoretically, yes. And in fact, right now is the time to renew them. So if your parents still have like 5-6 years left on the B1, B2, contribute to the national statistics by renewing it right now.
Oh, I did not know that. Well, thank you so much.
Hello.
Well, so I want to thank you, everyone, for contributing. The purpose of this was to be a round table. We hope that next year you're going to come back and contribute by actually working towards the creation of these wonderful setups. And I want to thank Dana. I want to thank Teo and to everybody else that contributed here, and to Anna. And we'll see you at the next moment. Diana, that is... Can you please tell us?
So we're still waiting for people to trickle in from the other roundtable. So let's just take a couple of minutes. Don't go anywhere. This is not a coffee break. Probably 2-3 minutes so that we invite the next panel, which is the business panel.
Universități, prieteni care sunt profesori în Universitatea României, să implice
another minute or so. So if I could have one of the organizers tell everyone out there to come in the room, I would appreciate it. Florine, can I rely on you? We're going to start in a minute here.
I started falling for you.
It doesn't really matter, but this is...
And I didn't know what to do. But I knew that I had to make a move. From the moment that I watched you walk into my life, yeah. I just knew that I had to make a move. And I knew that I had to be with you. I just knew that I had to be with you. Thought about us eating breakfast in my bed. We were holding hands, I was making plans, a future so bright. Caught a lift uptown, down by the bay, under the stars. I started falling for you. And I didn't know what to do. But I knew that I had to make a move. From the moment that I watched you walk into my life, yeah. I just knew that I had to make a move. And I knew that I had to be with you. I just knew that I had to be with you. I just knew that I had to be with you.
All right, we're gonna get started. If you could, if I could ask to close the doors, I would appreciate it so that we don't have any background noise. Okay, I hope that you all found the roundtables you attended informative and time well spent. Certainly, we had a lot of conversation in the one I attended. So, very excited to get back into the general session here with our third panel. If I could ask someone to close the doors in the back. So, welcome back to the general session. This is the third and the last panel of today's summit. There's still a program after, but certainly this is the next topic panel, which is the business panel. And I know a little bit about it because I am the moderator of this panel. So Diana Dram, you probably got sick of me by now, but certainly I am the moderator, and I have some esteemed business professionals, leaders in the real estate investment and ecosystem community here. And I feel a bit weird standing lower than you here, but probably that's how I feel in my understanding of real estate. So it's okay for the topic at hand. We didn't have a fifth chair on the same level with you, so that is okay. So before we begin, I would like to introduce my esteemed panelists here. And you do have access to their bio in the brochure, in the digital one as well. But they bring a lot of experience to this conversation. And I'm going to introduce each one of them. And I'll take the opportunity to also ask them a personal question, because I just like that. All right, so I'm going to start with you, Peter. Peter Ilnicki serves as Chief Operating Officer and Chief Lending Officer at Self-Reliance Federal Credit Union. With 37 years of banking experience, Peter specializes in creating financing solutions through credit unions, offering lower interest rates and no prepayment penalties. Oh, I love that. So, ready? Okay, this is a fire drill, okay? Short and sweet. What's the most adventurous thing you've ever done?
You're talking legally, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Probably snowmobiled through Yellowstone.
Oh, that sounds fun. Anyone else here did that? Or you want to do that? Yes. That's a community activity, right? Okay, great. Glad you survived it, to have you with you. I did. All right, Nicole, welcome to our panel. Nicole Blajan is Chief Investment Officer and Managing Partner at Cogent Capital Group. Nicole has over 16 years of experience in real estate development, and she's focusing on self-storage and industrial assets. Her expertise lies in real estate diversification strategies. You ready? Ready. Okay. So this is a bit of a difficult one. So let's see. If you could have dinner with anyone, a historical figure, who would that be and why?
Okay, well, being born in Transylvania and participating with all-American panel here, I think is only normal to say Dracula. But I would not go there. I will probably choose Leonardo da Vinci, just because such a genius, artistic genius, and innovator.
Can I join? I like it. Yeah. Can I join you in that?
Yeah, I'm sure we're going to be overwhelmed by the creativity, but I'll take it.
Very nice. Thank you. All right, Matt Bowker, founding partner at Lodge Financial. Matt has originated thousands of commercial loans and has a deep understanding of the benefits of using financial brokers for complex real estate financing. So Matt, this is easy. I'm giving you an easy one. Okay. What's your favorite travel destination and why?
Okay, so I would say up until recently, my favorite place was in Italy. Just at the right time, I got to go there as a teenager and see like the Sistine Chapel and some of this ancient history kind of merge with modern society, and I just thought that place was fascinating until the spring where my wife convinced me to go visit Prague, and that place blew my doors off. I just love it that they call New Prague New being 700 years old. I was like, New Prague is 700 years old. And but it just really had a big impact on me, and I can't wait to go back.
Thank you. Excellent. I was starting to see a Leonardo da Vinci theme in there, but then you moved to Prague. Okay.
I did.
All right. So AJ Menasier, Neighborhood Building Owners Alliance board member and also leader at Inhabit Realty Group. AJ has extensive experience in real estate, acquisitions and investments, and he advocates for policies that are benefiting building developers. Ready? Okay. This is interesting. If you could instantly learn any skill or talent, what would that be and why?
Actually, not a specific skill, but the ability to learn the skills. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie The Matrix, where he has that scene where he can like learn jujitsu or something. Here, maybe learn Romanian, just download it into your head immediately. I think that would be the most desirable skill to have.
Very cool. I would love that one. Wouldn't you? Do we have any jiu-jitsu players here? No? No? Anyone likes The Matrix? Okay. All right. This is the audience engagement, guys. Yes. It's a real estate investment panel. Okay, let's move into it. So It's great to have you all with us here. Very excited. You all carry hundreds of years of experience, and we're grateful you're here to share it with us. Our community here, we estimate that somewhat in the large percentage, I would venture to say probably 50% of us are either passive or active investors in real estate. We have investment developers building multi-unit communities. We have property managers. We have so active investors, but also we have people that are just investing in real estate as part of their financial portfolio strategy. So with that, we're gonna probably benefit in our conversation more the active investors, but certainly everybody can take some nuggets for from our conversation for your investment strategies. So with that disclaimer, I'm gonna start with my a series of questions here, and we're gonna go in rounds, and then we're likely gonna keep the last 20 minutes for audience questions, so please start thinking about them, note them down, make a sign, and somebody's gonna come to you with a mic when we open it up for the audience. So, but until then, Peter, maybe I'll start with you, a question for you, maybe a series of questions here. So, how hard is it to get a mortgage today? And can you get us some, actually, that was for Matt. Sorry, I'm going to start with Matt. Matt, I'll go to you. How hard is it to get a mortgage today? And can you get us some good rates if we show up our summit discount code? But seriously, where are the rates now? And where is the loan-to-value ratio right now?
Well, thank you. My rates are the best, so don't listen to anybody else. And I think rates are really dependent on where we started, right? So when I started 28 years ago, you know, the rates were much higher than they are today. And Peter and I were talking in the hallways, like his parents' first mortgage was 13% and some change.
13.5%.
Yeah, 13.5%. So it's all relative. You got to keep that in play. But for right now, they're kind of holding steady, although I don't know. Every day I wake up and I wonder which way it's going to go. But for the most part, things are still holding. There's some conservative tendencies happening in the market where loan-to-values might be changing, and some of the banks' philosophies about how they're lending is also changing, and we can talk about that later. But it's still relatively easy to get deals done. Then, historically speaking, the 90s were giving money away. It still works. I would think it's still getting stuff done.
Would you venture to say a number?
Oh, well, no. Well, I get everything that I do done, so it doesn't really matter. But no, the appetite's changing. There's kind of this imbalance between what sellers want to sell their properties for and what properties can support from a debt standpoint. And that's always been the case. And they kind of fight each other all the time. And so, as a broker and as a banker, we have to come up with different ways to kind of bridge that gap and make things happen.
Very nice. I guess the message we take is you make it happen.
Yeah.
Very good. Peter, then I'm coming to you. You work for a credit union. So I don't know if we all know how credit unions are different than banks. What's the difference? And maybe why would a business owner or developer go to a credit union versus a bank? Can you help us understand a bit more?
Yes, the easiest way I could probably explain it is a credit union is like a bank except friendlier. I'm sure all of you have been feed to death. Minimum balance fees, return check fees, all that stuff. We don't have one. We don't have one at all. So if you bounce a check, we don't charge you for it. We have access to 85,000 ATMs, and if you maintain a $1,500 balance throughout the month, we will refund up to $100 in ATM fees. Sounds fun? I'm sure all of you use ATMs quite extensively, and you get feed to death by your local bank. I did work at banks, so I've started my career at a small community bank. We went public. We got acquired by MB Financial. I worked at Chase for a while. And now I work at a credit union. And the easiest thing to tell you is that we sort of look out for you, not to make every dollar count. The way we look at it is if we don't charge you in fees, we save you money. You'll use that money to purchase your dream home or condo or investment property. And hopefully you'll take the loan with us and not with Matt.
There's some competition out there.
I do business with both.
Okay, Nicole, then I'm going to go to you next. So many investors, you run the gamut. They buy, they manage, they rehab, they build, construction, typically apartment buildings. They manage them. So could you tell the audience maybe a bit more about what other investments they could look at, and why should the members of our community be diversifying their investments through real estate? Can you give us more?
Yeah, sure. I'm definitely not a financial advisor, but honestly, everybody should have a little bit of stock and bonds and definitely money for a rainy day. And when it comes to the real estate investments, I started a multifamily like many of my, people that I know in the community, but I shifted in self-storage and definitely kind of opened my eye to a different asset class. And just want to point out that it doesn't matter if you're in multifamily, on the self-storage, industrial, or real estate, or retail, they all bring unique benefits, but also challenges, right? So I can only speak right now as I'm a purely self-storage and industrial developer, some of the benefits that diversifying in this asset class can bring versus multifamily, for example, right? So these type of properties have a high occupancy rate, they have stable cash flows. Nobody really, I can raise the rents whenever I feel like it, right? So there's no, that's the big difference with the multifamily. There's no rent control. There's no eviction process, right? I can give them 20 or 30 days notice, and then either I sell the belongings and clean it up for the next customers. So, and I think a big one too is building, the construction cost of building a self-storage are lower than a multifamily. Now, full disclosure, there's risk associated with everything, right? Everything in real estate is a risk. So if an investor is looking to diversify, my advice to whatever the asset class is do your due diligence, right? Align yourself with a strong operator. I think that will save you a lot of headache, and it will protect your investment.
Great advice. Thank you. AJ, I'm coming to you. Thank you. You're an investor in your own right with many years of experience, but you also are representing an organization that maybe our community doesn't know enough about it, and maybe we should, because we may benefit from it. So can you talk a little bit about NBOA?
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me. I have many friends in the Romanian community, and nice to see some of you here today. But yeah, so I'm a board member of a group called the Neighborhood Building Owners Alliance. And, us in real estate, more than any other industry, the government can be either your friend or your enemy. And, recently in many large cities, Chicago included, we've seen strong lurch to the left. And of course, a lot of that comes with, problematic situations for real estate. I can't think of any other industry where the government will tell you the most that you can charge, right, which is rent control. So, it's very important, I think, for all of us in real estate to at least be aware of what's going on the government side. And, when we work together, we can achieve a lot of things. Most recently, I don't know if you guys were familiar with what happened in the city of Chicago. There was this ordinance voted on in March called Bring Chicago Home, which wanted to quadruple the transfer tax of property in order to put it towards homelessness. Now, we all agree homelessness, we need to work on that problem. We need to do whatever we can. However, quadrupling a tax on real estate is not going to help that problem. So what we do at the MBOA, and especially on the PAC side, the PAC is a political action committee, is we're constantly monitoring some of the problematic policies, some of the problematic candidates that emerge, and we try to unify real estate industry against it. With this recent election for Bring Chicago Home referendum, we won that, right? And what happened was, us as the neighborhood building owners, we're sort of the small landlords, right? But there are many of us. We worked with the National Association of Realtors. We worked with BOMA, the Building Owners and Managers Association, which controls most of the downtown buildings. And together, we worked together. We had a campaign with mailers, with events, with commercials to fight this increase in tax, and thankfully we won. But it never ends. I mean, every single year we are fighting against rent control. And it's funny because we all here should be very thankful to the Republicans who were in charge of Illinois in the 90s, because they did a statewide ban on rent control. Without that, the city of Chicago, the city of Evanston, Oak Park, they would be doing it. And every year they try to end this ban so that individual cities can decide on their own. Well, we know if that happens, Chicago will, the council will vote to have rent control. So that's one of the things that we do ongoing. Every year we have to fight that. And every year when they bring it up in the State House, we have to do campaigns to send letters to the politicians, tell them that, look, we're all very against this. And we do that all the time, and it's ongoing.
Thank you. Okay, a few more questions before we open it up for the audience questions. So, Matt, I'll come back to you. You kind of started to go in that direction, I have a feeling, but if I'm a developer that needs a loan, and I may consider going to a broker, a commercial broker, as opposed to a bank, I have a feeling you might recommend that we do that. Just from your previous comment, but seriously, if you're thinking about why would someone actually go to a broker instead of going directly to a bank, are there some advantages or some situations when they might consider that?
Well, hopefully the answer is yes. Otherwise, my job might be in jeopardy. However, as a commercial mortgage broker, my job is to basically take the pulse of who's lending and who isn't, what their appetite is, what they can handle and what they can't. Going to a credit union might be great for certain things, but they may not be a specialist in the other areas. And so, since it's not my money, I get to hear the full story from the customer, find out what the strengths and weaknesses are, figure out what kind of leverage we need, and so forth. If you were, for example, to apply with a bank and all of a sudden, 60 days out after giving them, the name of the girl you dated in high school and all your bank statements and all this other fun stuff, and they turn you down, you're stuck and you have to reintroduce yourself to someone else and start that whole process over again. Whereas with someone like myself as a broker, I've already got your package, I already have the story, and my job is to pivot and make sure that thing gets done. Especially now, I've been getting kind of a lot more phone calls from people who have these existing banking relationships and saying, hey, these guys aren't really lending right now, what am I going to do? And as rates come up for maturity and new rates are higher than where they were before, it's a valuable piece of information to have that I try to stay on top of and make sure we can get stuff done and figure out solutions. So yeah. Peter, do you want to respond to that?
No, I kind of agree with Matt. He has probably access to other every financial institution, I think, has their bread and butter, where like he may know somebody that does construction at a lower down payment than we would. We do it. I know right off the bat that our construction rates, we require a big down payment, which is not what you would want to put down. We do residential real estate right now for anybody looking to buy a house. We have 10% down, no PMI. If you all know what PMI is, it's primary mortgage insurance, and it could be quite expensive throughout the year. So our program right now, usually you have to put down 20% not to have PMI. 10% allows you not having to save that extra 10 and not pay that insurance that could be thousands of dollars a year. So that's one advantage that we have. Another advantage on the commercial side for investors is that we don't have a prepayment penalty. If anybody has a loan, let's say for $1 million, most commercial mortgages come with some type of prepayment penalty, whether it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, which could be a huge amount of interest that you're going to pay just to get out of that loan.
Okay, so it depends.
It depends.
So maybe we leave, before I leave this train of question, Matt, I'll go back to you maybe quickly. You can talk about the access and benefits and benefits of Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae loans.
Sure. So outside of like your traditional banks, credit unions, your Wintrust or your First Bank and Trust of whatever your neighborhood might be, when you get into investments specifically for multifamily, which I think is probably a bulk of us, when you start getting that experience and have had ownership for a few years in a couple of buildings or more, and you start to kind of look for larger assets or larger size properties, there's small balance loans that are out there for non-recourse debt, which wasn't really around as much as it should have been in the earlier years when the market crashed. But when you get higher, you can take advantage of these products which have much better rates, longer term fixed periods, and the non-recourse or non-personal guarantees. And it's a very nice program to do and take advantage of, cash out, leverage, interest only for periods that don't typically get offered from some of our traditional base level lenders.
Can I get a mortgage?
Yeah.
All right, Nicole, since you were just about to take the mic again, I have a question for you. Maybe nothing works like learning from examples, right? So can you think of an example of a diversification success, or even if it's learning from a diversification strategy of a particular investor?
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the things that I love about my job is that I always find opportunities that others are missing, right? Creating that niche, special sauce, whatever you want to call it, right? So I think I'm pretty good at that. And just a quick example of how I was able to create value for my investors was that we purchased a piece of land at the intersection of, actually here in Chicago, at the intersection of Lincoln and Devon. Now this property has been vacant for the last 15 years, right? It was an existing movie theater. And a lot of developer has passed on this opportunity for many years, just kind of couldn't, has a small parking lot, very difficult build, and nobody could make sense out of it. So we purchased it at a good price. We're able to save on our construction timeline, construction costs, and we were able to mitigate our real estate tax bill, right? So I think the coolest part of the project was that we were part of the revitalizing the neighborhood, right? How cool is that to drive around and see, a repurposed building? I think that kind of brings me joy in what I do on a daily basis.
That's awesome. This is the good for good that I was talking about earlier. So how great of an example. Thank you. So before we open it up to the audience, so think about questions. I have one last one for AJ, kind of in the vein of the previous conversations. What would you say are community member business owners here, developers, how could they engage and collaborate with other communities through NBOA?
Yeah, I mean, look, when we have these elections, people, I think, underestimate how much one vote counts. Certainly in a presidential election, I would agree that, if you don't vote, it probably won't make a difference, of course. But we look at some of these other elections, especially local ones. For example, I live in the 1st Ward in Chicago. There was a socialist candidate who was running for re-election versus others. He won with 400 votes. That's not very many people, right? Same thing, for example, with the Cook County prosecutor, the person to replace Kim Foxx. She won by 1,100 votes across all of Cook County. And when you can get your community involved and on the same page, you can really make a lot of difference. And that's how you can sort of gain political power. That's how you can influence the government. That's how you can influence the politicians. So, that's what we try to do with MBOAs, bring together, obviously our focus is neighborhood building owners, the small landlords, guys who, like me or some of you who own 2 flat, 3 flat, 6, whatever, smaller buildings in the city. And we realize that there is an opportunity for us to work together, to put our voice together. And now, we have events. There are many aldermen. There are many Cook County commissioners that come. We give them donations when they have events. We have our own events which they come to, and it builds the political power that is important in order to protect your rights and your business.
Excellent, thank you. All right, so I did give you a bit of time, a heads up that this is open for questions now. So we have one here in the first row. Mihai. Who's running the mics? We lost our mic runner. Angie, thank you.
I'll be your mic runner.
Okay.
So I have 3. I'm going to urge you to be quick because I have literally a litany of questions headed at you.
You only get one now, and the rest.
I'm only going to get one now. Yes. So Peter, the first question is directed to you. Last year we talked about, well, how nice or how, would it be interesting for the Romanian community to start a credit union or a bank? So the decision is, and we actually came to see you at the office. That's how we met. So
and you're going to make me president, right?
Yes. We're going to invite you to advise the credit union. Here's my question. So there's about 135,000 people here in Chicago, Romanians here in Chicago, about 1 million in the United States. There are today 17 Ukrainian credit unions in the United States. There's 0 Romanian credit unions in the United States. Can you compare the 2 populations? And then I know these numbers are public. Can you tell us about your number of members and your revenues? And would you actually start the credit union if you were in our place?
Yes. Right now, we have the war going on in Ukraine. So over the last 2 years, we've had a huge influx of members. So we went from probably approximately 25,000 members to over 40,000 members in the last 2 years. I think originally when we started, we're 1950s. We're about 73 years in existence. So it took a long time, and we finally reached 1 billion in assets. So it does take a long time, and it will take a long, it's not an easy process, and it's a slow go, but it really kind of depends on the Romanian community, just like it does the Ukrainian community. The more you guys come together, then yes, it makes sense to do it.
Anybody other than Mihai has a question?
Just the runner.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for bringing so much knowledge to us. My name is Kunzi. I am trying to figure out how do I get into investments, right? I'm early in my career. This is a new asset class, but very interesting to me. But I'm an immigrant. My immigration process is still in the works. If I go to a bank, how does a bank look at someone who doesn't have a green card ready to go? Like, what is the process you go through, and how do you convince a bank that, yes, you're worthy of a loan? Not even commercial real estate. We can talk about commercial too, but not relevant. I assume this is relevant for many newcomers, right?
Do you go first, or you go first? Okay. Yeah, I can answer it from my side.
He owes me.
I do. Whatever he offers, I can beat. It's a real challenge. It's a problem because all of the loans that you're trying to start off with are based on the fundamental idea that they're going to take the property back from you. It's foreclosure-based lending is the thought process. And if you're not here, with a permanent resident card or having some other situation, they're probably not going to be able to lend you and get you started. You're going to need someone else to jump in with you as a co-guarantor until such time as the paperwork gets through and you can be on your own. That's usually what the suggestions that I make because it's not uncommon. And I know the length of time for that process is also a challenge. So if you've got anybody else that is a resident or a U.S. citizen that can be a partner in your venture, then you can get started. You can build that experience, and then when it does kick in, and you can take that person out, refinance, or move on your own and do the next project. I don't know if you have anything else, Peter. Like, can credit unions do some different stuff?
We actually have that same problem right now with all the Ukrainian immigrants that came in. So right now, for the most part, they're either staying with families or their family is helping them with rent at some place. And I know some of these people that are coming in with substantial funds, so they do have money, but the problem is income. Since they just got here, they're starting their own business, or they may have gotten a job and they have 6 months of W-2 income. But the thing is they don't have 2 years of tax returns. And usually for a bank or the government, any Fannie, Freddie entity, they need at least a minimum of a year, but mostly 2 years. So the way we came out with a program, and this sort of tries to help, but I don't know, in many cases, maybe it does a little bit. We've done some of these. So basically we increase our down payment for like your personal residence. So if you're here for like 6 months and I can prove your income through bank statements if you're self-employed, or if you're a W-2 employee, if I see constant payments, we just require a bigger down payment. It could be 35% down, but at least it gets you into your house. As far as investment goes, that's kind of trickier because most investments at minimum require 25% down anyway. And if you're looking to buy like a 5-unit or 6-unit, you're looking at a substantial down payment anyway. So I don't think you're walking away from it. So we sort of look at it a little bit differently. Plus, at that point, we're also looking at the cash flow from the building.
Okay, so thank you. I think we have a few more questions. I know there was one there. So, I don't know the order. I saw Theo the first time, right? Oh, okay.
We can hear you.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Go.
So thank you. Great background now that we talk about the loans. So maybe half of the people do own their homes or their investment, but the rest don't. As your background, as you said, you didn't start it with a commercial first. Instead of buying a home, which is not an investment, what would you advise the people that don't own a home yet to buy first? And with what kind of down payment? So it's both an investment and a home, or if that helps.
Nicole, do you want to take this?
Sure. I think, now obviously I specialize in self-storage and industrial, but I believe as a first-time investor, you should definitely go through owning your own home, kind of understanding the obligation, the financial obligation, and how to manage that. I would only strongly advise people to invest in real estate, extra cash that they have laying down, right? So because we have to understand that everybody's talking about how great real estate is, but nobody talks about the failures too, right? A lot, you can lose your money very quickly. So as there are a lot of success stories, I think first my advice, if I was me, I was focusing on buying my own home and understanding the process, and then perhaps being part of a small investor pool to allocate some extra money and invest in different asset classes.
Yeah, I think my name is Anda, by the way. Thank you guys for being here. I think what Luminita was specifically asking if it would be wise for your first purchase to be an investment property, such as like a 2 or 3 flat versus a single family home.
I mean, one advantage that I will see to buy a 2 or 3 flat, right, as a first-time owner, that when you purchase that first-time mortgage, you can utilize the income from the other apartments, right? You can rent it and then counts to paying your own mortgage, right? So that will help you down the line when you want to become an investor, as you have that track record, right? That I was a homeowner, I was actually a landlord, right? And I believe, Matt, and you correct me too, Peter, when you want to become an investor, you have to have a track record, right? The bank will ask you, like, what's your experience? Have you managed other properties? I don't think you can just come up from the street and jump in and buy 10 units, right? But I mean, if you can, go to Matt.
Yeah, well, I'll add that I started with a 2-unit for my first property, from like a single-family home, and with that also comes the risk that Nicole's been talking about, right? Because if that unit's empty, usually the 2 flats more than your first single-family home, you're gonna have to figure out how to make that payment on your own until that unit gets re-rented. If it's rented, it's nice. It keeps your payment, your obligations. So there's a risk-reward benefit as you go into different types of properties, and that's what we're kind of trying to drive home. But I started with a 2-flat because I was like the idea of having someone pay a portion of that mortgage and that debt.
Yeah.
But you have a tenant too, and the neighbor, and all that kind of fun stuff, which could be good or bad, depending on how you look at it.
And also, nobody's talking about the increase in real estate taxes and insurance, right? That really eats up from your bottom line. So as you're literally banking on the extra income from the, let's assume, 2 units, as Matt said, like, if you are responsible for those obligations, it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
To sort of add to that, my outlook on it is everybody's in a different financial situation. So if you can buy a 3-unit or 4-unit, great, fantastic. If you can live in it, even better. The only problem is most people won't have that kind of down payment for that type of unit. So it really...
From my understanding, I think you can put down as little as 5%, correct? For
you can.
a multi-unit, up to 4 units, if it's a primary resident.
With that comes additional payments, because you'll have mortgage insurance and some other things that will tap on top of that, which will potentially shrink the margins that you're thinking about.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hook on something. Did I interrupt you?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna hook on something you just said in your answer. It's like most people don't have that kind of cash to make those bigger investments. So maybe I'll ask AJ, what if we were in the community, some people may want to pool funds together to actually invest in bigger projects, maybe through a partnership or something. What should we all think about? Are there concerns? Should we know anything specifically?
Sure. Well, I think it depends on how you structure the partnership. There are different kinds. If you're just you and your friends and you want to buy a 2-flat or a 3-flat, there's not really any additional hurdles that you need to do. Of course, you're going to want to draft something called operating agreement, which just spells out what happens in different situations. If one person wants to sell but the other doesn't, you have to have that stuff in writing. There's a different level, though, if you want to do a bigger syndication, and these are the deals that I have many of you in the Romanian community investing with me as well. When you have a different level like that, where generally it's kind of more of a general partner and a limited partner arrangement, there are different legal requirements. If you are going to solicit funds from investors, there are documents you have to prepare. One of them is called a private placement memorandum. There are certain rules about who can and you cannot include in your investment. For example, they must be a accredited investor, and that's a specific definition. That means you must have either, I think it's a $1 million net worth, or whatever it is, $200,000, $300,000 a year of income. And if you don't take care of these things beforehand, and there are problems down the line, you as the sponsor of the partnership, as the person making the deal together, you are opening yourself up for some liability. So again, this is really only a concern if you're trying to do bigger deals, and I think that wouldn't be the right way if you're starting out. You probably do want to do what Matt said, get a 2-flat, what they call house hacking, right, where you buy a 2-flat, you live in one, and you rent the other. You don't have to worry about it with something like that. But if you do want to get some friends together, again, you don't have to worry about it. If you're getting more advanced and you're getting to the level where you're finding outside investors, and you specifically have this different structure where there's a general partner, meaning that's the person who is signing on the loans, that's the person who's taking all the risk, then you have to have different sort of paperwork arranged beforehand.
Great, thank you. All right, I think we have 2-3 more questions to go through.
Sorry, just a quick note. I never got to ask my question. I was
Go
just
back
about
to you.
For Luminița.
And I interrupted.
No worries, absolutely. So for those of you that don't know, I'm actually a loan officer myself, and I work for a family-owned business, which is a very small brokerage. But what I really enjoy about it is the flexibility in the programs that we offer. So I wanted to kind of ask you guys, what do you think the benefits of working at a brokerage working with a brokerage versus a bank? And I kind of want to go back to you a little bit and say that there are a lot of options for people specifically in your situations where we only look at bank statements or ITINs. So yeah, big banks make it harder.
I mean, I can answer this question from my perspective. As I mentioned before, the type of deals that we're doing are, anywhere from $15 million to $30 million. So we always try to find the low cost of capital, right? Either is on the debt side or on the equity side. So as I know Matt, and we tried to do business before, I see a benefit of going through Matt because he probably has a relationship and networking, which I think is key in our community, and we should do a little more than that, the efforts that we're currently doing. But Matt has a lot of connections, and I'm only good at what I can do, right? So I'm doing my due diligence when I go into a new market, and I identify who are the lenders, right, in that specific market. And I might go out there and take a couple of term sheets and understand what the banks can offer. But I see a huge benefit of going to Matt because, one, it saves me time. He understands what my risk profile is, right? If I need recourse or non-recourse, that all these details are super important for me. And then he knows exactly who to target, right? And then he might have like a pension fund, or he can have different creative ways that can service the need for that. But no offense, Peter, I'll go with you too. Yeah. I mean, wow. Whoever offers the better
and I
deal.
don't care who you dated.
Okay, let's not go there, okay?
That's what they say, but that's probably a question in their loan docs.
Let's go to Matt.
I think the same reason why
we're all going to Matt.
Why you're a residential mortgage broker. One of the reasons why you like that is because you have hundreds of different programs and options and rules and guidelines that you can try to solve the puzzle, right?
Right,
so
and the grants too that are.
Exactly, grants. There's all kinds of stuff that happens in resident. I'm residentially licensed, but I can't do it because there's so many programs and my brain just doesn't function that well. So for my commercial side, that's how I'm answering those questions. But that's one of the reasons why I love my job, is because I get to work with people like Peter who can solve this problem and say, hey, I've got this, I don't have those W-2s, I don't have this, I don't have 2 years work history, but this is what I do have, and I like solving the puzzle, right, and trying to figure out how to get the solution done. And that's the same thing that you do as a mortgage broker. It's the same thing. It's like I want to solve this and figure out a way to get it closed and make people happy.
Okay, I have 2 jobs today.
Mm-hmm.
One I like, which is talking to you guys. Another one is I have to look at the time too. So maybe I'll take one more because I saw the hand out there earlier, and then maybe we'll wrap it up. The mic is coming. I don't think we can hear you.
I got you.
All right. Woo. A quick question about investing in residential versus commercial. For example, 2-3 flats for a residential versus 2 or 3 storefronts. Because when we invest in residential, we have to worry about people's life and death situation. Whether storefront, we don't have to.
I'll ask you this question. What's easier to rent, residential or a storefront?
I'm asking professionals.
I mean, I'm just saying I can find a person that'll rent an apartment faster than I can find a business owner that's going to rent a storefront.
I agree with that.
There's also
the real estate taxes on storefronts are very expensive. They don't go down, and in most cases, any store that has like a small storefront, they can't make enough money to cover the real estate taxes and pay their employees. So most of those little storefronts go out of business. So that is a very risky proposition. So I would probably say don't do anything with a storefront.
And there's a new rule about that as well. There was something called the apartment loophole, where commercial buildings that also had apartments were taxed at a lower percentage. The new assessor changed that. And I have friends who have a storefront with 4 or 5 units above, and their taxes jumped tremendously because they just changed the way that they treat the properties.
Classified it.
Right.
Yeah, and then as part of my development, I will give you an example. In Miami, I had to have retail on the bottom, right? And I found it really challenging to find accredited tenants that will sign a 10 or 15 years lease, right? Just because the businesses are going out of, out of business, and it was really challenging, and I was forced to stay empty for 2 or 3 years.
I want to answer that just real quickly. There's some differences between 5 units or less from a financing standpoint versus the commercial side. You deal residential, which means you could potentially get 30-year fixed rates. Your rate doesn't change, it doesn't balloon, doesn't mature. It does go on your credit report, which has some pluses and minuses as well, versus when you're in 6 flats and up, usually the terms aren't self-liquidating 30-year fixed. They usually have a balloon or some event occurs after a certain period of time. It's 5 years, 7 years, 10 years. It'll either balloon or adjust. And so there are different rules on both sides of that in terms of investment strategies.
Also, if you're buying a 4-unit or less, you could do 10% down and no PMI right now.
Yeah.
And in most cases, you can just do 10% and pay PMI if the program ends. Yes.
Do you do the 203K?
I do not. We don't do the 203K.
Ask our lady.
Maybe Matt.
203K?
Yeah.
You got to do them? She's got you.
She got you right there.
Like I said, too many rules, too many things for Resi. I know what it is, and I can explain it, but I think you should go talk to her.
Okay, so this is where I'm intervening and say you're not going anywhere from here with further, deeper conversations outside. I think you're all offered to interact, provide your contact information, and be reached by our audience. We thank you in advance for that. What a great panel. What a great dialogue. Wow. I hope you all got some, like I said, nuggets out of this. It was tremendous, was engaged. It was, this real estate investment is sexy. Yeah, okay.
I think Peter's bringing sassy.
Okay, so let's just, for the audience, let's continue to take advantage of experts that are within our reach. If you have a question, just find someone in our community to ask, who should I talk about it? Let's continue to take advantage of these opportunities. Let's continue to support each other and grow up together, grow towards a brighter future. And certainly you're probably going to get more phone calls. So help me thank our panel, which has been tremendous. Thank you, and we'll move on.
Thank you, Diana.
Okay, as the MC, I think I will pass it over to my partner here, Angie, to take us into the next section.
Okay. Can you hear me? Yeah. All right, everybody. I'm not going to take too long of your time here. I'm just honored to announce here today that our community decided that going forward, starting next year, we're going to introduce community awards to this summit. We're going to present more details in months to come, weeks to come, and months to come, on how we're going to nominate and vote for those awards, but the categories will be as follow. We have 5 categories. We'll have the Individual Leadership Award, Organizational Leadership, Steward of Our Roots, Impact Through Excellence, and Future Maker. More details, as I said, will be on our website, rosesummit.us, and we'll present details. Today, however, we have a special award. We're going to invite here a Romanian ally, a special friend and patron of Romania, a distinguished diplomat who served as the U.S. ambassador of Romania from 1998 to 2001. He demonstrated to be a true ally of Romania, by partnering with American citizens and businesses, the U.S. military, Americans, allies, and Romanians, focusing on promoting peace, democracy, and prosperity. Together with his wife, award-winning journalist Sheila Kast wrote the book Dracula is Dead, presenting the readers with insights about our, quote, remarkable country of boundless hospitality, brilliant skills, and bright future in a peaceful Europe. We're honored to present Mr. Jim Rosapepe with the Romanian Ally Award. We didn't count on you flying here, so we're going to ship it to you.
Okay. Vă mulțumesc. It is a pleasure to be back in Chicago with you. I first visited Chicago in 1968. Ho, 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 exactly. For the Democratic Convention in 1968. I was not one of the demonstrators. I was a 17-year-old intern for the Democratic National Committee. I've been back to Chicago several other times, but the one that's most memorable and relevant to being with you today was in 1998, when President Constantinescu visited around the United States, came for the NATO summit that year in Washington, D.C., as the NATO summit is this year in Washington, D.C., and we spent 2.5 days here in Chicago, and that was really my introduction to the Romanian American community here, which, as you know much better than I do, is diverse and vibrant and growing stronger every day, which obviously is what this wonderful summit is about. Over the years that I have, since I've come back from Romania, as was mentioned with that very kind introduction, I've been involved in creating Alianța, which is the national nonprofit of Americans interested in the Romanian-American Alliance. And many, well, let me ask you a question here. Who here, raise your hand if you've ever been to an Alianța event? Okay, let's have a round of applause for all those who come to an Alianța event. And then how many may come to one in the future? Raise your hand if you haven't come before. Okay, let's have a round of applause for those who may come in the future. So Chicago is already very, very involved with Alianța. And we appreciate that. And Mihai, obviously, and Ruff and other organizations, and Steve Bonic have been involved with us in all kinds of ways. And it's just a joy to see you coming together here in Chicago. Because Chicago, frankly, in national politics, I was going to say Romanian American politics, I want to say that. Frankly, in the past, has kind of punched below its weight class. Given the skill in this room, given the energy in this room, given the spirit in this room, and beyond this room, you can play a much bigger role in the national conversation as well as in helping yourselves here. And I really welcome that. And so when Mihai contacted me and invited me to come, I was really honored and really appreciated the invitation. Just want to make 2 points and then I'll shut up and sit down because you have many other things to do. One of the things that many people get bored with me doing, but it's important, and I think it's important for all of you as you're developing your community here, is to declare the successes of your country of heritage and of your success in the United States. And she said in the introduction that my focus was on peace and democracy and security when I was ambassador. This is 25 years ago. Democracy, when I went to Romania for the first time as ambassador, and I was talking about Romania being a democratic country, and Romanians would say to me, and this did not happen once, it happened multiple times. I'd say, it's terrific that Romania is such a dynamic democracy. They'd say, no, 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 Mr. Ambassador, you don't understand. This is 1998. We're not really a democracy. I said, yes, you are a democracy. Actually, you have elections and power changes peacefully and all that kind of stuff. That's like a democracy. They said, no. We'll never be a democracy in the United States. And I said, so what's wrong with Romanian democracy? I'm talking about 1998. Well, first of all, the members of parliament are always arguing with each other. Okay? Number two, the press writes whatever it wants, whether it's true or not. And number three, the politicians, they're only worried about the next election. I said, I'm the U.S. ambassador, I'm here to say that's as good as it gets. And you know, we're having our own struggles these days a little bit. But the fact of the matter is that the democratic success of Romania is a huge deal. And too many Americans don't know about it. And I think it's important for all of us in the Romanian American community and friends of the Romanian community to spread that word every chance we get. Prosperity. When I was there, prices went up 150% in 1 year. People were being laid off left and right. Since then, as I say, as soon as I left as ambassador, the crops came up and the economy improved, which is true. But in the time since then, Romania has had one of the fastest growing economies in Europe. Everybody, you all know that, but other people don't know that. The World Bank, I think it's 2 years ago, declared Romania a high-income country. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. And obviously, the accomplishments that you and the other Romanian Americans in the United States, and particularly in Chicago, have had, is another demonstration of Romanian success in the United States. And you need to show it off. It's really interesting listening to this conversation. I had no idea about the involvement in the local real estate industry here. That was fascinating. I knew about IT, I knew about a lot of other things, but the real estate thing I knew nothing about. And then, I guess it was a year or so ago, I learned about the Romanian and Moldovan trucking industry. I knew nothing about that. I'd never heard of them before. There's so many success stories, and it's a story that needs to be told because it both empowers and inspires other members of the community, but it also builds the ability to have a voice in American democracy. You know, there's a saying that if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. And that's where bringing unity on specific, as Mihai says, on concrete projects, whether it's on a credit union, or whether it's on programs to help the elderly, or programs to help young people. Concrete things you can do, those are terrific. Those are very, very important. But also, as you're doing that, you come together and you gain a bigger voice. And that's where sort of the relationship with what you're doing and what we're trying to do with Alianza is we want to make sure that when issues come up like visa waiver, that the U.S. government understands that there's a constituency in the United States that cares deeply about this. Similarly, on Putin's war in Ukraine, the third element of sort of my agenda when I was there was security. And at that time, Romania was not threatened. Now it is threatened. I mean, Romania is a frontline state in Putin's war. I don't know what Ambassador Moraru said this morning, but I've been with him on a number of panels and with other ambassadors from Central and Eastern Europe. And the one that sticks in my mind, the ambassador from Slovakia always says, the Ukrainians are fighting for our freedom in Slovakia. And that's exactly right. And they're fighting for Romanians' freedom in Romania. And frankly, they're fighting for Americans' security because if Putin gets Ukraine, all the other states are endangered. That happens, it's a war with NATO. That's then American service men and women. So it's important for our country meaning the United States, as well as for the country of your heritage, Romania, that there are strong voices, not just from Ukrainian Americans, but from Romanian Americans and Polish Americans and Baltic and other Americans and Italian Americans like me, saying that this is important. So the unity that comes from concrete activities also provides a voice that will make a big difference for all of our interests and all of our kids' interests. You know, the African proverb, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And I'm so glad to see all of you going together. Thank you very, very much. Mulțumesc.
very much. I am privileged to introduce now a remarkable young woman making significant strides in public service and nonprofit management. She's a seasoned strategist and social entrepreneur, boasts over a decade of experience leading initiatives that promote social and educational empowerment. She's the first Romanian Obama Scholar at Columbia University in New York, a social incubator board member, and an amazing young female leader who's committed to inspiring our young generation. Please help me welcome Adriana Preda.
Good evening. I'm so humbled to be here today in front of you in this room of great professionals and individuals and distinguished speakers and amazing change makers. It's an immense honor and also pressure because it was an amazing and fantastic event. So congratulations, Mihai and all team for everything that you've done today. I want to share with you my journey, but before sharing my journey, I want to tell you a story. We'll tell the story very soon. Yeah.
Exista un imn, așa l-am numit imn, care se numește Viața Căminiștilor. Viața căminiștilor e un cântec de chitară, alții cântă, alții zboară, alții ies pe geam afară, ca așa-i viața căminiștilor. Dimineața ceai, 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 până la amiază, vai, la prânz 2 macarone, până seara mor de foame, ca așa-i viața căminiștilor. La fete în dormitoare, ușile nu au zăvoare, paturile n-au picioare, ușile nu au zăvoare, ca așa-i viața căminiștilor. N-aș mai lăsa să poată să fie educator oricine. Mi se pare că trebuie să ai o pregătire, în primul rând psihologică, pentru că gestionezi niște oameni care deja sunt traumatizați. Dacă tu nu ești în stare să gestionezi traumele pe care ei deja le au, nu o să faci altceva decât să le creezi și mai multe traume. La întrebarea cum te simți, cum ești, mie întotdeauna primul gând care îmi vine e să zic bine, că toată lumea spune bine. Chiar cred că sunt într-o perioadă foarte bună a vieții mele. El e top. Bine ați venit în reședința de vacanță. Uneori mi se pare că nu e așa mare lucru că am stat într-un centru, nu e așa mare lucru că mă întrețin singură, nu e așa mare lucru că am grijă de un motan și uit. Oricum, dacă stau să analizez, sunt foarte multe lucruri pentru care ar trebui să fiu mândră.
Her name is Ana. Ana is a girl that comes from the Roma community. She was abandoned at the age of 5. Her mother was mentally ill and she committed suicide. Ana was continuously abused in the foster care system in Romania, and today Ana is a successful real estate consultant at a big firm in Bucharest. And her story is possible because today we talked a lot about collective effort and the power and the strength of all of us together. And she is here because all of the people that trusted her and believed in her. So when I met Anna, she was 21 years old. She didn't even look into my eyes because she was afraid, but somehow she trusted me and our organization to support her in her way of becoming what she had the potential to be. It's not our merit, it's hers. So if you see that picture there, it's me and her. She had a very big bonus last year in December for a transaction that she facilitated. And she called me and said, Adriana, I'm going to donate all this money to the social incubator because I want to help the organization. Of course, we didn't take her money, but she then became the host of a big fundraising gala that we had. And she spoke on the stage in front of 300 people. That is how Anna, from the girl that didn't even look into my eyes, become just because some people decided to believe in her. Talent and potential are everywhere, but opportunity is not. And it's our duty to give people that are not lucky enough that opportunity. A few things about myself. I come from St. George, Sfântu Gheorghe, Covasna. I am a law graduate. I worked also in a law firm, in television for some time, but the common thread was me doing volunteering, a lot of volunteering for children with disabilities, for elderly people. And then in 2015, I decided that has to be the mission of my life, helping. And I joined the Social Incubator, which was an organization founded by friends that wanted to make a change, like you. And in 2016, I took over the organization. But I also have a very personal motivation. That's my mom. She was also abandoned by both of her parents. She also grew up in the foster care system, but she taught me and my sister that we have to give back. If we were lucky enough to have her and my dad and help us, we need to help those who, again, weren't lucky enough. And then a lot of social problems in Romania, not only youth unemployment, the orphan and abandoned children and youth, we have healthcare, Roma minority, human trafficking, corruption. There are a lot of problems. And the situation of orphan and abandoned teenagers is dramatic. It's over 60,000 children and youth in the foster care system, annually leaving 3,500. If they don't find a job or go to higher education, they end up on the streets. They end up victims of human trafficking. They end up drug addicts. That is why the Social Incubator decided to support them through education and growth opportunities and job integration so that they have everything they need in order to become the person they deserve. So we have a very personalized intervention, one-on-one. We offer career guidance, counseling, housing, mental health, everything they need. Now, the story of Anna is a story of 5 years. That's an issue. Usually, we don't have 5 years to see the change, but unfortunately, with these children and teenagers, it's a long-term commitment. But when it's done, and that happens in anything that we put our mind and efforts into, when then it's done, they become contributors, real contributors of the community, and not just givers. They become super givers because they know what they needed to become and to be where they are. So we started with orphan and abandoned, but then we focused also on digital innovation. We have 3 ongoing platforms on job integration and career counseling for both youth and adults. We've supported Ukrainian refugees also, first at the border, and now we're helping them integrate into the labor market. I was so happy to hear about the elderly program. We connected elderly people from homes with youth from the foster care system. And we provide, this is a program we launched 2 years ago, and we help them not just get a sense of unity, but also the elderly people get taught, they learn digital skills, the teenagers have somebody to talk to and to rely on. So it's a very successful program. And parents that leave their children because they are forced to work abroad, we try to support that issue as well through uniting them and offering mental health support. We have also a business economy, a social business on circular economy, and we launched some a sports division with Eurosport, not only for fundraising, but to bring community together. And this was very successful in bringing community alongside the people we help. Our last years were a growth because of the dedication and the work that we put into, but mostly because I tried to educate the private sector. Why? Because it's not just our job, civil society organization, to support these teenagers. It's also the private sector's responsibility. We, of course, need the funds, but that's not enough. We need their expertise, we need their marketing agencies to support us, and we need for them to believe and give chances and opportunities to the people that we serve. They need to be the first ones to believe that this youth and adults and vulnerable people deserve a chance into the labor market. And this, of course, it's not, I'm here in front of you today, but that's my amazing team that did everything of this possible. So because of this, I ended up at the table with President Obama, one of the most beautiful experiences of my life and most humbling experiences of my life. I was selected as the first Romanian Obama Scholar due to the experience and the activity that I had at the Social Incubator. It's called, this program selects 12 people from all around the world that did, they say change makers, I think that's a very strong word, but they did something to change their community and their countries in one way. So this is me along my colleagues. This year, I've been living in New York at Columbia University. And the program, of course, offers a very enriching experience, something that I didn't have back home. But I had the opportunity to meet such amazing individuals. That's Professor Muhammad Yunus, who has been an inspiration in my work, Michelle Obama, Hillary Clinton, Professor Stiglitz, a lot of people that, as President Obama said, gave us knowledge and shared their wisdom with us. But the most important thing they shared with us was the hope that we can do more, that we can do better, and most importantly, that only if we unite and if we're together, we can change our country, our community, and our world. And that is why I'm here, because in this year, I wanted to do more. I wanted to do more for us and for my country and for our community and for all these amazing Romanians that are everywhere. And I talked about us everywhere I've been, in any stage with President Obama, because I was the first Obama Scholar, but I'm not going to be the last one. I'm not going to be the only one. And I think we have such amazing, amazing people, not just in this room, in the country, people that had the chance to be where they are, people that are vulnerable and just wait for individuals like you to give them a chance. But we are amazing. And I want to be part of this great movement and put our country on the map. So let's do it. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. Do you have tears in your eyes? I do. Okay. Last stretch. This was awesome. It's amazing, as I said. I mean, there's so much richness in our community. It's unbelievable here in Chicago and everywhere in the US and in the world. So, okay, there was a lot of deep content today, and it's only as good as, you know, when we do something with it. So to the earlier point. So I'm going to invite here my colleague in crime here, Dragos. Maybe you could say a little bit about yourself before you start this part, but then I'm going to invite you to lead the next section. And we're in the home stretch. This and a bit more after.
Anna. Hello, everybody. It's been a long day, and a long couple of months. I was a bit busy and I didn't have the chance to interact with all of you. I took the role as chair of the Romanian Summit 2nd edition here in Chicago. I'm very proud of all the work and all the things that were achieved, not only today, but also the journey that we have. I only have the prepared words on my phone. My lovely daughter helped me put them down as we were driving back home or yesterday coming and going from arranging the meeting. So excuse if it's not perfect. Dear guests, esteemed speakers, extreme ambassador and officialities, I would like you for welcoming me into the community. I'm very new to the community. I just moved to Chicago last year. So I was very much eager to get involved, to learn about the community, to engage with as many people as possible. And from that perspective, I was happy when Mihai offered the chance to get involved. I didn't know what shoes I need to fill. I didn't know the shoes, big shoes, but I hope that at least managed to 70 to 80% managed to put them in. I would like to talk more about the journey together we had in the past couple of months to get to this moment. Together with volunteers, the preparation showed that the community has a lot of skills, flexibility, and resilience. And I will give a couple of examples of people that finish a 12-hour shift and still join a half-an-hour call when they are supposed to be in bed or under shower. So really appreciated all the efforts. The work involved from many social media posts. Maybe I will have to apologize for being like the marketing guys that send you a mail each day, but we felt that it's important that the message is sent to everybody. I want to give a big thank to the team that worked on the agenda. I think we managed to have a good agenda offering a balanced and interesting themes. I don't want to lose. I want to thank the people, the outreach team, so outreach colleagues that were always, and we managed to have 40 partner organizations. I think that's a big achievement. I want to thank the logistic teams. They did a terrific work. I will only talk about some nitty-gritty work, like fixing the website's problems with the pay site and everything, and going to yesterday, having to buy an iron bar and cut it to size and making holes so that we have this nice backdrop behind us. I would like to express my gratitude to our welcoming hosts, Logos Christian Academy. I felt like home here, so for me, in the past days being here, I felt like home, and I really appreciate their being such a great host. And I also want to congratulate them on their 30th anniversary this year. It's an amazing, amazing achievement. I would like to make a special mention to all our volunteers that dedicated their times and skills for this to happen. I would like all the volunteers to stand up, and so we give them a big round of applause. Thank you. I would like to thank the esteemed speakers. Many of them came far away to be with us, so we really appreciate, especially that this was the Memorial Weekend, so I think with the good weather, they could have chosen to be somewhere else, much more exotic and much more interesting. We once again thank them. I would like to thank all the partner organizations. We had a huge effort to put everybody together, and even from sharing a post on website to being a key element like logos, I think there is role in the future editions for everybody. Everybody can step up or step down depending on the appropriate priorities at that moment, but there is place for everybody. And I think with this event, we prove there is a place in the community for everybody, and we can find the right balance to have everybody involved. I would like to thank our sponsors, without whom we will not be able to have such a lovely event. They are an important business community. It's an important pillar of our community. We cannot do it. So I was asked sometimes why they should support it. And I said, yes, maybe your focus potential clients are not in this room, but by growing the community, also you'll grow stronger. And I really appreciated all the support, and I hope that you feel that it was a good event to invest in. And last but not least, I would like to thank everybody that showed up and hope that this was a lovely event. It was an honor to lead the organization committee. I had the opportunity to meet a lot of people in a very short time frame. I apologize if I did not remember everybody's names, if I had to rush some of the calls that I received in the past, or I did not answer the calls over the past couple of days, but I really felt like in a call center, but I like it. I don't regret any moment, and I hope that I managed, and I hope that I managed to bring a useful contribution to community, as the community so nicely welcomed me. Thank you.
I just want, this is not scripted. I was not supposed to speak right now, but if there's one person that we owe tonight to, it's Dragos. And
Marius and Florin and Adi.
And Marius and Florin and Adi and everybody, but so I asked Dragos, I said, okay, so what do we need to do it next year? And he said, well, just to do it at the level of this year, we need at least 2 full-time employees and 2 part-time employees for the previous 3 months before the summit.
To get it 100%.
To get it to what we had it today, and to get it to 100%. And when he signed up, he didn't know that it's going to take 60 to 70 hours a week to pull this through. And you know, I know you thank all the volunteers, but you were the first and the best example for how to lead. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We changed the mic. We're unpredictable. Okay, so we also want to have Larry come in.
Yes. And as is customary, as we started with the guests that were very kind to us, we give the closing also to... But don't leave, because after Larry's closing, we'll have the raffle. So, yes, we'll have the raffle. So you'll have the chance to win one of the prizes that were offered by the camp sponsor that are doing the rugby union. Okay? Larry, floor is yours. And I want to thank you for all the support. As I said, I feel like home.
No problems. Thank you so much. Vreți să auziți din nou românește, nu? Spiritul românesc, e ceva în el acolo. Să știți, când cântările astea, cântecele vechi românești cu trezește-te române și celelalte, văd că există un spirit românesc acolo pe care am uitat și pe care vrem să-l reînviem adunându-ne aici. So, thank you for coming. I think it was a great event, bringing us together, realizing the potential we have, realizing the potential for love in the community. And I think a lot of things have to be done not because of a return that is possible, but just because of love. I think love is the greatest thing that we have, and it's given by God to us, and without it, nothing matters. L'amore chi muove il sole e le altre stelle, right? It's something like that. But coming together here is an investment, and I think we have to realize that this investment is something that we give forward. Someone gave us things so that we are where we are. We're privileged because someone invested in us. Now it's time for us to invest in other people, and that's a giving forward, and we have to do this. And one thing that I learned coming here is that we have so many valuable Romanians. I was aware, but now I'm proud. It's more than being aware, I'm proud. And congratulations to all of you for that. Keep up the good job, right? The other thing I realized is that we do need to trust each other a little bit more and trust that we all want good, things for good, and realize the resources that we didn't use. One thing that I noticed, a voice that was not heard here tonight, and it's not the fault of the organizer, it's more a thing of the way, I don't know, things arranged themselves for this one session, and maybe next time we will hear that voice as well, is the churches. We didn't hear too much from the churches in the community, and they represent a huge force and a huge pool of resources. There are a lot of businesses, but not too many can advise you when you go through a crisis. Not too many can give you money if you lose your house. A church can. Not too many can advise you with kids when they go through problems, drugs and whatnot. A church can. And there are many, many things that a church can do. And we should hear their voices as well, maybe next time, okay? Maybe we have a round table with churches or a panel, why not? But I'm just saying, spirituality is very important. All we said here is human stuff, and it works if we trust God. So we have to realize that this is a voice, another voice that we have to hear. And for Romanians, it is especially important because for 2,000 years, our spirituality kept us together. Over the mountains, we have the same language because we had the same beliefs, okay? And it's important to remember this thing. Thank you for coming here tonight. You are a great crowd. Very enthusiastic, a lot of energy. I learned a lot of things. I learned a lot of things in the AI roundtable. Things that I'm thinking now to apply at school. I was convinced by the speaker there that students using AI is not necessarily cheating. I have to think about it, but we'll see. But yes, it's important. We need to train them somehow and adjust in such a way that their using of AI is not cheating. Right now it is. Hands down and just red-handed. But it's awesome. We learn so many things when we come together. So I think that if we can organize this next year, we should maybe pitch in a little bit more so that people like Dragoș are not going to be killed and commit self-suicide, suicide because of the amount of work they're supposed to do. So let's pitch in a little bit more together in organizing the next summit. And thank you for coming here tonight.
Okay. I know it's been a long day, and I also know you've heard from a lot of people. I just want to, before we wrap it up and with some of my final comments, I want to offer it up to the audience. Does anyone want to say a couple of words, any insight, anything you got from this summit that you want to express with everybody else? Now maybe we have time for a couple of comments. And I'm happy to share the ChatGPT poem with everybody. All right, it looks like everybody's drained out. So, we have someone. Here we go.
Well, if I ask question, might as well I should acknowledge the people that answer the questions, right? So thank you everyone for putting this together. I think the committee did a great job in choosing the speakers. The MCs were spectacular. And talking about what I've learned today, first of all, the last speaker, the young lady from Romania was, Adriana, she amazing. Brought tears in everybody's eyes. I heard here next to me people saying that they don't feel they don't do much compared to her. So I think she should be actually not necessarily for us to measure up to her, but to give us kind of a boost, right, that we can do stuff.
So not just that we were, I think, encouraged and inspired, but we did learn. I was only in one of the sitting table at the AI, and spectacular. And like I said, I felt like absolutely every one of the panels was great. So learned a lot. Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you to everyone,
Thank you.
including the speaker, the people that asked questions.
All right, I wanna, don't go, hey, don't sit down. I wanna invite in front of you our most cherished volunteers, because we may be perfect, we may be doing everything perfectly, everything together, but if we're not teaching our young generation in the right way to preserve our heritage, cultural heritage, and to support each other, and to make an impact, and to reach for the sky, we have a finite time here, guys. So I think it's the most important for us to teach our young Romanian Americans the right way. And they actually did just that today. They volunteered here. We have 14 volunteers that have labored in the kitchen, have labored in putting packets together and moving chairs and everything you can remember, you can imagine, and they're here. And I want to invite them all here in front so that they can get recognized. Please come in front. Thank you for this. And just because they didn't get a chance to introduce themselves, I'm gonna go on my own time, so very briefly, to hear who you are, your name and grade.
My name is Horia, and I'm in 9th grade.
My name is David, and I'm in 9th grade.
I'm Steph, and I'm in 10th grade. I'm Julie, and I'm in 10th grade.
I'm Emma, and I'm in 11th grade.
I'm Anna, and I'm in 10th grade.
I'm Alexa, and I'm in 10th grade.
I'm Bianca, and I'm in 10th grade.
I'm Delia, and I'm in 8th grade.
I'm Ate, and I'm in 10th grade.
I'm Alex, and I'm in 11th grade.
I'm Jessica, and I'm in 9th grade.
I'm Brandon, and I'm in 11th grade.
Fantastic crowd. Look at them. Excellent. They deserve to be recognized. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so I don't know if that's what you're here for. Essentially, we still have a raffle to announce, right? Who's got lucky today? So let's see who's managing that.
The wait is over. We are starting with the balls, yes? Okay, 794375. 794375. Da, cât mingile, dă mingile. You're welcome. Nine 20057.
If you're not here, you're not going to win. One more time and we move on.
920057. Okay. N 794329. 794329.
What should it be?
Seven 794398. 794398. 9298.
Maybe one of the panelists.
920073.
We have a winner?
Yay!
Yay! We have a winner. Okay, let's, okay. Oh.
Yay!
Please state your name. Marius Olariu.
The man behind the
mics
and the screens and everything, and a great administrator. The man I had to go each time I had a problem, and he very kindly and smiling helped me to solve it.
Well deserved.
794272. 794272.
Okay, let's keep going.
794297. 794297.
Last try.
794313.
Okay, next one.
794313. I'll repeat, okay? 920064.
Wow! We'll take this home. Meet my husband, Radu Drum. Okay. We play a lot of sports, but not that one. All right, we have one to go.
We got
the 3 shirts.
9 to go.
Okay. All right.
7943.
We'll do it quickly.
Yes, 794379.
Oh, no, I got 7-8.
794379.
Can you do it?
No.
Next one.
E pentru domnul ambasador, 78, să-l scrie.
I'll give you 3 minutes to award all of them.
794368. 794368. Very evasive, these prices. 794360.
Yay!
Yay!
One less to go.
One t-shirt.
Name?
I'm Margaret Nistor.
Nice to meet you. Okay. -8.
794409. 794409.
Yay! We picked up speed here. I think we may be done soon. All right. We just heard your name, Justin. Okay. Let's keep going.
Is 794286. 7942.
Okay, we have a winner. We have a winner, Donna.
Thank you, guys. Dana Surceal.
Great.
Okay.
-6.
We do the tickets or?
Yeah, so we got 12 tickets.
No, we do
double, so you know, six
no.
couples.
No, but we don't. Let's do
Oh, this was not planned.
4.
Okay.
4. 3 or 4, yes.
Okay.
So
they have a system now.
Romina, take the names. If you can write the names so that we can contact the people afterwards. 79, because the tickets will be digital, so we'll take your contact in order to contact after you to provide you with the digital tickets for the rugby game that will take place on July 5th. 79 43 82.
I got it right here.
Who's that? Florin won. Should we allow him to win or not?
Cine vrea să meargă la rugby să mă contacteze, că am 4 bilete. Go, let's go.
So, Florin, we have 920057. 920057. 794267. 794267. 794274. 794274.
Excellent. One more.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, two more. Bear with us.
Give your name.
And we are not asking to see the ticket. I'm not asking.
Nu. Eu sunt primul. Da. 2 și 3. Da. 794339. 794339. 794341. 794341.
Don't go anywhere.
Okay. Yes.
Gabriela Cordos.
Excellent.
Okay.
All right. Are we done? Too many prizes. Two more.
Sorry. 2 books. 794340. 794340. 794372. 794372.
Not sure we started the series right. There's no sevens here.
794297.
Okay. Let's go to the bottom of the book.
920063. 920063.
Okay.
Yay.
We got a winner. Excellent. Okay, we have one last book to award. And final comments, and everybody can have
794319. 794319.
We have a winner.
Yay.
Excellent.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your help. This has been a very complicated process. All right. Some learnings for next year. I hope you all enjoy that to the extent that you didn't win anything. But I just want to, as a final parting comments here, I want to say that as you walk out, let us have the energy and the connections from today into your everyday lives. Let's not just have this summit stop at the door. Continue it on with the connections you've made, with the insights that you got. And if we support each other, if we work together, if we collaborate, if we innovate together and strive for excellence, we can create a better future for us and for them, which is extremely important. So I look forward to seeing you all next year at the summit, which is actually sooner than you can imagine. And so I want to thank you all for coming, for participating actively. Safe travels home, wherever you are from, especially those who came from afar. And I would like to ask everybody to maybe come in and take a big, big, big picture before you go. So thank you very much. One thing I forgot to mention, if you could just hear me very briefly here, there is still time to go back into the main, I guess is the gym, the lunchroom, where we have sponsors and for networking. So after the picture.
After the summit picture, everyone. So if you want to take, every year we're going to take the summit picture with everybody. We welcome all of you to the stage right now. Please feel free to walk up. Okay, fine. I'll sit here.